Hello, everyone. Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, and it's time for part 3 of my limited series on the 100 records I would keep and then sell or dispose of the rest or whatever. So, yeah, and this list is so fluid, it keeps changing. In fact, today when I was pulling the records for this particular segment, the next 25, so I will have reached 75 of the 100, I made some changes, thinking about things. Well, I do have it on CD. Why do I really want to keep the vinyl? And there's this other record I would want to put in the list. So, yeah, this is a fluid list. It's really constantly changing. So, but we'll go with this for now. And then, my usual caveats. As I say, I do have many records both on CD and on vinyl. So some records that are omitted from my list, like I was contemplating today, I may also have on CD. So that's why they're not in the list. And then if there is one that I am keeping on this list of 100, that just seems kind of odd. Why are you keeping that one? Well, it's probably because I don't have a copy of it on CD and it still has some type of connection with me, and that's really why I want to keep it. And this may be particularly true for some 60s and 70s rock because, I don't have it, a CD copy, and, maybe that's why I'm keeping it. Now, these choices, these selections, they may be items that I think are the best, represent the best of a particular artist or group. But as I say, sometimes it's just something that I feel close to, have a connection with of some type. I just want to have it on vinyl, even if I also have it on CD. You won't hear me list any Car Seat Headrest albums in this because I'm just keeping them. All my Car Seat Headrest recordings, regardless of format. I'm also keeping all my Ryuichi Sakamoto. That's just goes without saying. And I'll probably want to keep all my anime soundtracks as well, for a variety of reasons. So let's get going here with part 3, all right? And the first record is The Cramps, Flame Job. And I was kind of struggling, which one would I knew I wanted to keep a Cramps record, and they're all really, really good, at least the ones that I have. I don't consider any of them duds. But I just, I started thinking about the some of the songs on here, particularly their cover of Route 66, but also the Sato County Auto Show, and just good stuff. So this is the one for the Cramps, Flame Job. All right, now this is a compilation. Because I didn't really see any point in collecting all the individual releases. And this is a really good compilation for Etta James. I would definitely keep this. This is the Chess and Argo singles. A lot of great singles on this, and I love Etta James. Managed to see her one time as she was an opening act for the Rolling Stones. But yeah, great songs on here. So this is one I would keep because I would definitely be listening to it as well. All right, now this one was kind of tough, and I pulled 2 records, not because I'm going to keep both of them, as I just can't make up my mind, but I know I want to keep one of them. And this is Willie Colon, and the 2 records in particular are The Hustler and Casa Nuestra. And the reason I picked these 2 is because Hector Lavoe is singing, and Hector Lavoe's voice, if you've never heard Hector Lavoe sing, rest in peace, it is absolutely amazing. And I did see, the reason I got into Willie Colon is he performed a free concert as part of the Concert in the Park series for, the pop music, pop music other than, it wasn't orchestral music is what I mean. In, Grant Park, Millennium Park here in Chicago. And I really knew nothing about him. And it was an amazing, amazing show. It's one of the best concerts at Grant Park that I've ever been to. And so I just went out and started buying records, and they're all really good. But of course, Hector Lavoe was not singing at this show because Hector Lavoe's been dead for decades. But when I heard Hector Lavoe singing, I'm like, oh my God. So one of these two, I'll have to start listening to them again to decide between The Hustler or Cosa Nuestra. But yeah, fantastic salsa music, just incredible. All right, so from Pink Floyd, the one that would want to keep is this one, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and I would want to keep my mono copy. I have mono and stereo, but I would keep the mono copy. I really find myself listening to earlier Pink Floyd a lot more now than I did in the past. I haven't listened to Dark Side of the Moon for a really, really long time. And I have it on CD. I haven't listened to Wish You Were Here. I don't listen to The Wall hardly at all. Animals is probably the most, the more recent one that I listen to with any frequency. But yes, this would be the record that I would keep from my collection, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I think it's brilliant. I think Syd Barrett was a brilliant pop song writer as well as a brilliant innovator when it came to performing and playing on the guitar. Okay, next one is, I used to have this on cassette, and then I saw it in the record store one day, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta have this. And this is a wonderful album, The Proclaimers, Sunshine on Lathe. Scottish duo, brothers, twins, I believe. And just a wonderful, wonderful record. It's just enjoyable all the way through. It's even it's kind of a folky type record, but one that just is a joy to play loud. So yeah, The Proclaimers. And then this one, Placebo. I mean, I just love this record. I really, really do. And I don't have it on any other format other than this album. Just an incredible to me. And, even, Nancy Boy is the big hit, but man, there are just so many. The song I Know is such a powerful song to me. And this is what I'm definitely going to be keeping in my collection. This is one that coming up here, this is one that I added to the list by removing some others, because the more I thought about it, I really like this album. And I don't have, I've got a CD compilation of Eric Clapton that includes Cream and also a lot from this, and that's Derek and the Dominoes, and this is the MoFi release. But this is really such a wonderful, wonderful album. And I know that Eric, in my opinion, Clapton has turned into kind of a douche in the later years, which happens. There's even weird stuff that Alice Cooper has recently been saying, and Van Morrison, and, there's a lot of people who have issues that, kind of bug me and I don't agree with or whatever. But, it's not enough that I'm going to stop enjoying their music. And this particular period of music is wonderful. It's such a great album. Same band also. Well, Jim Gordon, drumming on this. And Jim Gordon to me is, you know, one of the most amazing drummers around. You know, and he's got issues too. I mean, he's in prison right now for murdering his mother. So, you know, there's people, you know, nobody's perfect. Isn't that something Madonna sang? Anyway, next one is, I got a lot of this band on CD, but this is really the only one I have on vinyl. The Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse, and this is a great record. Just really, really love it. You know, there's semi-hit, One Headlight. But yes, great stuff. I started listening to them, you know, when they debuted in the 90s, when I was living in Montana. And I was picking up their stuff. Loved everything that they did. At least of the ones, I don't have everything that they did. I have a kind of a new one that, a brand new one that they released. It's okay. It's listenable, and I do listen to it. All right, classic to me. I mean, this is definitely the one that I would keep because this is Fleetwood Mac, Then Play On, and to me it's the best recording, the best release of Fleetwood Mac out of, you know, a very, very storied career. But it also is a representation of Peter Green, who I think is among the greatest blues guitarists around. And there's some really, really great stuff on here. You also have some contributions with Danny Kerwin on here, and also I think Jeremy Spencer, was in on this as well. But yeah, amazing record. Definitely would love it. I remember in 1978, I think it was, I was living in Tucson and Fleetwood Mac was there. Of course, this is post Peter Green, and this is, you know, right around Rumors time. And they were playing in Tucson at McHale Center, and I couldn't go because I had to work. But I got off work and went to McHale Center and, you know, stood outside the arena, and I could still hear, you know, the show. And while I was there, I happened to catch them playing "Oh Well," which is, you know, from Then Play On. That was still pretty cool. All right, next one. This was a blind buy, and this is such an amazing record. All right, this is North American Poetry by Juan Waters. You know, it's a blind buy, right? So, I mean, I kind of, you know, I'm kind of a sucker for a cute guy on the cover, you know, and especially if he's shirtless. And, you know, so yeah, I thought, what the hell, I'm going to buy it. And what an amazing record. We're talking about kind of a pokey. It's punk folk. That's maybe why I went pokey. So, yeah, it is a really amazing songwriting and playing and singing. And gosh, I was just, you know, I still listen to it quite a bit, but when I first bought it, I was playing it over and over and over again because it is such a good record. North American Poetry by Juan Waters. All right. There are two records that I would keep from the Grateful Dead, and the first one is going to be my favorite studio album of theirs, Working Man's Dead. You know, what can I say about this record other than it is among the perfect records? You know, this is a perfect record. To me, it is much better than American Beauty. I think it is, yeah, it's just such an amazing record all the way around. All my favorite songs are on here. The other one that I would keep is pretty much my favorite live recording of theirs. From, at least from vinyl, I know that there are some great CD live recordings, but this one here, the just eponymously named Grateful Dead, the Skull and Roses record. I have two copies. I have an original and I have this MoFi. I'd probably keep the MoFi. It is a really, really wonderfully sounding record. But yeah, I just love the set on this, even though it's not the entire set, I'm sure, because their concerts can go on forever. I've been to a few of them, and but I do really, really, I love Wharf Rat. I love that whole medley. I Know You Rider and that medley that they would do in all their shows, and it's really, really good. I mean, so I like it much better than even Live Dead. And also, not just in terms of the set list, I like it better than Live Dead. I like the recording. The actual recording, to me, is better than Live Dead. Next one is Supertramp, Crime of the Century. The one that, made it, helped them break out and make it big. And this is a really excellent album. It covers many of the themes that are covered in Pink Floyd's The Wall, but it happened way before The Wall ever did. And I think does a better job with those themes. And a lot of these themes, they kept coming back to over and over and over again, particularly with Breakfast in America. So yeah, this is probably why, I want to keep this over Breakfast in America, which I have, but this is the better record. All right, next one. Oh, this was, hate using the word, but it really was a grail for me. And when I finally got it, and that's no means no wrong. Canadian punk band, strong, in your face, hard. I mean, if you listen to it, on YouTube or some whatever listening app that you use, listen to this. I'm speechless. It is that good. Next one I have everything that this band has released on CD. The reason I'm going to want to keep this particular release by Scissor Sisters on vinyl, the record is Tada, is one, it's my favorite of their releases in the catalog. Two, this is a really nice copy that a friend of mine picked up when he was in Great Britain, and picked it up, bought it at a store there, and brought it back. So it's got not just all the, it's a double album. It's got some other nice inserts to go with it, and it's just a really, really great sounding release. So yeah, this was nice because I was wanting to get this on vinyl for such a long time, but all the vendors pretty much, at least when I would check it out in Discogs, were all in Great Britain. And for shipping to the United States, of the European countries, shipping is probably the most expensive when you're buying from a vendor in Great Britain. So this was really a super, super nice gift to get that, and it's going to stay in my collection. Another compilation, because to me this is a perfect compilation for the Hollies. This particular greatest hits compilation is, to me, again, among some of the perfect albums that I can think of, because not only because of the song selection, but also because of the order that they are put. So as you are listening through here, wonderful, wonderful compilation. To me, again, this is the only Hollies record that I need to own because it's really such a perfect compilation. This next one, Japanese jazz pianist Ryuichi Ryo Fukui. The record is Scenery. This is on the We Release Jazz label. I remember seeing this in a store, and I really didn't know anything about it. This was a blind buy, but I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give it a chance. I still got the hype sticker. We Release Jazz presents the official reissue of Ryo Fukui's highly sought masterpiece of Japanese jazz scenery, originally released in 1976. And it's a 180 gram, half speed, master, whatever. Yeah, I thought, all right, I'll buy it. Sounds interesting. It was highly rated on various other websites. And when I got it home and I listened to it, it was, man, I have several other Ryo Fukui, fascinating story. He didn't learn the piano until he was 21. And then he released this record just a couple years later. And it's brilliant. And I love really good jazz pianists. And he is right up there. Speaking of love, Forever Changes, such a classic psychedelic record. Just, a lot of people talk about their other release, which I can't remember the name of, as, potentially being better. I don't know. I haven't listened to it, but, this is the one I have, and it's also one that I am going to keep. Love Forever Changes. And another classic that really was a big influence on ambient and dance type music was this one by the French band Air. All right, the Moon Safari. This is such a sublime record. I'm definitely keeping it. It's a great go-to record. I enjoy listening to it now, and it's been around for a while. It's one that I put on with some fair frequency when I'm in the right mood for something like that. Okay, this one I removed a couple records from this list today so I could add this one and some others, and that's this compilation, the Patsy Cline story. I realized, man, I gotta have some Patsy Cline, and I love this compilation. My favorite compilation was actually one that was released on CD, but I don't think it was ever released on vinyl because I never found it in the store. There were a lot of other compilations. When I saw this one was available, and 2 records for $10, I mean, and in really excellent condition. And it had all the songs that I really wanted on it, so that's why I got it, and definitely going to stay in my collection. Now this one is, we reviewed this on the Gunkles for an episode, and this is Masana Temples by Kikagaku Moyo, Japanese psychedelic band. Really, really amazing. I only got it on the black vinyl. Would have been cool to get a color variant, but the store that I got it from, they didn't get any color variants. But yes, this is really, really cool. And the musicians, well, you should look up our discussion about this in the Gunkles, and you can learn more about this. And this is one I am keeping. All right, getting close to the end of the list here. And I have a lot of records by Joy Division. Well, they really only had a few releases, right, in their short-lived history. But there were a lot of other, like live and other recordings that later came out, and all of which are really quite good. But yeah, this one here, Unknown Pleasures, would want to keep this. I was always fascinated by Joy Division. So that would be one that I would be keeping. And another compilation that I think is a perfect compilation, Mata Hoople Greatest Hits, this particular Greatest Hits compilation. I've never had a desire to buy any individual releases by Mata Hoople because this satisfies my Mata Hoople itch. Just really great songs on here. And then of the Stevie Ray Vaughan that I would want to keep is going to be the live release here, Live Alive. And part of the reason, besides being a really great live recording, is this is the set list and the era during which the first time that I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan play live. That was at Palo Solari in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which Palo Solari is no longer there. It's an outdoor amphitheater, or was an outdoor amphitheater, I believe, on the campus of the College of Santa Fe, if I remember. I can't. That was a long time ago. But yes, what a great show. And every time I listen to this particular recording, I remember that show. So that's going to be in my keep list. And the last one for this particular episode is this, The Tubes, the eponymous release. For a long time, I only listened to side two. Side two to me is just a perfect side, and I would just play it loud. I mean, you've got on side two, Mondo Bondage, What Do You Want From Life, Boy Crazy, and then the classic White Punks on Dope. I really didn't listen very much to side one, but now, in the last few years, I've really been listening to side one just as much. So when I play this record, I play the whole thing from start to finish, because the song Up From the Deep, Halo's Space Baby, Malagueña Celorosa, they're great songs as well. And I really, really enjoy this. I have other Tubes records releases, but this one, man, this is one of those records, especially with side two, when it starts to play, I want to crank the volume. And of course, living in a high-rise apartment, that usually means I need to bring out my headphones because I can't crank the volume or my neighbors are going to complain. So there you go. That's the up to 75 now of the 100 records that I would keep if I were to dispose of my collection, with some, exclusions that are not even, I'm keeping no matter what. So leave a comment in the down under, your reaction or thoughts about the selections in this particular one. There will be one more episode, and I will have links to the different ones when, they're all completed, when part 4 also goes up soon. I can be found on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. I have a Facebook page called Calvin Wazoo, so you can find not just my videos on that page, but you can find other videos and other content music related. And hey, hit that like button. It helps. Hey, subscribe if you want to, but even if you're already subscribed, hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm for content distribution so that it gets into more lists, as suggestions for other people. So it helps out. I don't make any money on this channel because the majority of my videos I'm doing needle drops, and which means, there's a copyright claim on the content, so any revenue that my video generates goes to the copyright holder. So, that's the way it is. I do this because I enjoy doing this, and so remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.